Welcome to Microsoft Power Automate training videos. This is a continuation of the previous video which is like expressions we were discussed in the previous video. And in this video, we'll discuss how to write logical comparison functions. And also we'll discuss about what are the date and time functions are available. And also we'll see a couple of string functions and a few of the workflow functions also available that we'll discuss in this video. And also we can able to see a few other expressions also which is related to URI parsing, and we have couple of manipulations functions for the JSON and XML. We have couple of collection functions, and and also we have implicit data type conversations also were there that we were discussed in the previous session as well. So for that, I'm going back to this make.powerautomate.com. Here we have variables which is declared already. Now we'll see few of the comparison comparison logical comparisons. So for that, first um, I'll delete these two first. We'll delete this one. Click OK. And this is also not required. I'll delete this one if it is required, and we'll add it again. So now we'll take and our formulas. So for that, what I'm doing is now I'll take one compose here. In the compose, here in the expression, I'll write a first we'll discuss about and. So when we type and, we will get the and. When I open this one, it is asking for the expression 1 and it is asking for the expression 2. So for that, what I'll do is now first I'll write a true statement, then I'll write a false statement. I'll take this false, I'll take this as true. Now I'll click OK. Now we'll try to run this flow because it's a manual flow. We'll start this manually. And click run flow. Now which is done. Now when I go to this the input which is showing false and the output is false. We know the and, if you pass two statements are true, then the output would be true. If you type any one of the statement is false, the output will be false. Now the two statements were true. Now I'm trying to run this again, and done, and that, see, now which is true, the output also true. And the same way, if you take two inputs are false, the output also will be false. Okay, now this might be confusing sometimes. I'm just directly passing the output. We'll try to write some type of inputs here in this, and I'll go to expressions. Now we'll take one more logical comparison operator inside that, which is called equal. So now I'm typing this equals. Now when I open this one, and it is asking for an object 1 and object 2. Now I'm passing the object as 12, and I'm passing object again 12, so which is a true statement. Now I'll type again here equals, I'll type 11 comma 12, and this output gives a false statement, which means this one is true and this one is false. When I click OK, and I'll add one more compose here, and I'll take this input, I'll copy this complete statement, and then I'll use it here, and I'll make this one also true statement like 11 comma 11. Click OK. Now here we have passed, one is a true statement, another one is a false statement, and here we are passed both are the true statements. We'll see the outputs of these two. So for that, I'm trying to test this one manually, and then click run flow, then done. Now I'm expecting this would be false, and I'm expecting this would be true. You can able to see, and this is false and this is true. So this way you can able to use and. For example, if you want to use or, you can able to use or as well. So for that I'm clicking this. Now here we have seen and, which is one is true, another one is false. If I use or here, I'm expecting the output of this statement also would be true, and I'll remove this and. So here we have used or. Now we'll try to test this one. Save and test. Okay, click run flow. Now click done. And you can see the output is true. So in this we have two statements, but in the two statements what we did is, we have created we have written a R condition here, and in this we have written a AND condition. Now this way you can able to work with the R and AND, and also we have tested equals. For example, you want to test greater than or equal to, you can use the same type of formula here. For example, in the R statement, and I have this equals, I'll use this greater. When I type this greater, now I'll remove this parameters here in this formula. I'll type greater when I open. When you work with the greater, and you have to give a value here, and which is a 14, and I want to compare with 11. So which means so this statement is true, and why we are checking like this, I'll remove this one and I'll remove this one. We'll only check the greater statement, and of course we will have greater than or equal to. So the same type of formulas where we use in the programming languages are in the queries. Greater than or equal to, or equal to we tried, less than or equal to, all the statements we can able to write here. See, the statement is true, now the output is true. So the first one is the value, and the second one is the one which you want to compare with. So the same manner you can able to use greater or equal to, and we have couple of other less than or equal to, that also you can check in the logical comparisons. And still we have couple of more in the logical comparisons. So which is something like, if you want to check like less than, we discussed already, and we have if statement, if we already tried, I hope. If you want to try the if, you can able to try the if as well. I close this one, and when you go to the expression, and if I type if, then inside this, and it will take the expression here, and value if it is true, and value if it is false. This is same as what I can say, this is same as Power Apps. Here I'll write something like greater. Again, I'm using the same type of some logical comparison operator here, and then I'm writing the 20 is comparing with 10. Now the statement is true, and then comma, then I want to give an output which is saying that true, and now I'm just writing false. Okay, I'll click OK. We have written something wrong, so this is a true statement, and I'm just typing true, I'm just typing false here, and then when I click OK now, which is done. So when I click this one, and we'll try to run this manually. Now you can run flow and click done. Now when I click this one now, which is true, now the output is true. If you written something false, then the output will be false. So this expression, same as in the Power Apps, you can use the same if statement here in the logical comparisons, and you can write a statement. If the statement is true, and it will work, or otherwise it will fail, and it will execute the second statement after the condition. Now we have less and it checks whether the first value is less than the second value. And we said about the less than or equal to that we are not trying, and we have a not, and that checks whether an expression is false, and we already tried or. So these are the logical operators we have in the Power Automate. And also we have couple of string related functions that we'll discuss now. So I think in the previous video we already discussed about a concatenation, and if you want to work with a GUID, you can able to work with a GUID as well in the string functions or string expressions. If I write a GUID, and if I write like this, you want to create a GUID and you want to utilize, you can use like this. Now this statement is not required here. I'll delete this one. If it is required, we'll utilize and we'll add once again. And when I try to test this one, and when I click this test manually, click and then run flow, and done, it generates a GUID here. See, this is a GUID. And if you want to create a GUID for any of the strings, or maybe if you want to add it to any any file naming, when you are creating a file, you can able to create a GUID here. And also we have length that we already discussed in the previous session, and we discussed about a replace, and we have few other that we'll discuss in this one. Now we'll discuss about the index of concept. So for that, I'll close this one. I'm trying to edit. Now I'll remove this one first, and then I'll go to the expression. I'll type this index of, and when we open the parenthesis, now it is asking for the text string, and it is asking for the text string. For example, now what I'll do is I'll skip this one. First I'll create a string here. I will try to initialize a variable. Here I'll give a name as text here, and then which would be a string, and here this is a new world. So which is the value which I'm passing as a string value, and then we'll try to call that string here. Now in the expression I'll write index of, and now I'll open this one, and the text string which I'll take from the dynamic content, which is the text, and comma. Now we can able to text the string as, so we have is in the in the text which we created. Now when I click OK, now it would be a single quotes, not a double quotes. I just want to check this index of this one. Now we'll go to test. Now we'll try to run manually. Now it returns the integer value, and where that word is there. Now I'll click done. Now here if you go to the compose, now you can able to see the word which is in the second place, which it is. So that's why it is written 2, because this is the thing which I written in the second place. Of course we'll see this one. Now I have is here as well. Now we are checking here which is 2, and here we have two statements. One is this, and here it is taken the first statement, and then after first and second character I can able to see is. And we'll try to change this one. For example, I will change this statement, or there is a new world. Now we'll see what would be the output. Now save and test, and click run flow, and click done. Now you can able to see the output here, which is in the 6th place, because we have written the 5 characters here, and there is a space, and here in the 6th, when the starting of this 6th character is is, so that's why it is identified as a 6. Now this fashion you can able to identify where exactly the word resides in the the string which you passed there. And we have a couple of other string functions also, and that we'll discuss. Like there is a concept called start with, and start with also checks like whether a string starts with a specific substring or not, and that we'll see here. Now I have this. Now I'll remove this one. Now we'll go to this expression. When I type starts with, and when I open the parenthesis here, you can able to see the first one is a text string, the second one is a search text string. Now I'll check this one, and I'll pass the variable here. I'll take this text, and then, and it is starting with there. Now I'll try to put some string here as new. Okay, done, and we'll see what it returns. And then go to manually save and test, and run. Done. Now here you can able to see it returns false because this text starts with there, it's not starts with new. So this way you can able to identify it is starting with the string which we passed or not. And also we have another formulas like two lower and two upper. Now this is in the lower case. I want to convert this to uppercase. I'll type this to upper, and it is only asks for your text string. Now I'll take this one, click OK, and then go to test and save and test. Run flow, and okay, now when you go to this compose, now you can able to see this complete letters now in the capital letters. There is a new world which are capital letters here when we passed as a small letters. Now if you have a capital letters, now you want to convert that back to the lowercase, you have to use two lower. So these are the different type of expressions are available in the string functions. Now we'll discuss about date and time functions. So for that I'll put this in edit mode. Now I'll remove this one. uh, we already discussed about converting the time zone in the previous video. I will try to add the days. So for that, what I'll do is I'll take this text, or I'll change this one to date. I'll take this one as a string. I'll remove this. I'll take the expression as UTC now, and then click OK. Now we have the time string here. Now what I want is I want to add some days to the time. So for that I'll go to expression here. I'll go to expression. Now I'll type this add days. We have couple of like add days, we have add hours, we have add minutes, we have add seconds, we have or add to time also we have. But first we'll try with add days. Now when I open the parenthesis, now it is asking the timestamp. I'll take this date, or instead of taking the above one, you can able to take this one as well. Like you can take the UTC now. Now then the second parameter which is asking for the days, like for example I want to add another 10 days, or we'll add another 3 days here. And then the format which is asking, so which format you want to display the date and time, so that also you can able to define here. And I'll define this one with the like year, which is a 4 characters, and then I want to define months, and I want to define the date as well. So I'll close this one. This is a format. We'll see if the format have any issue, so you can able to identify from here. So now the format have some issue, so that's why it is not taking. or for example you don't want to go with this format. For example, I'll click OK. I'll remove the format and will just only pass this one. Later will come back and will check that. If I click OK, now this will take. Now we'll try to test this one with a manual fashion. Then click save and test. Click run now and click done. Now you can go back and check uh, here. Go to compose. Now we're just taking the complete format, that is fine. We'll try to implement the complete format to check this one. Now this is the date and this is a month. Now today is 27th, and which is added more 3 days here, 30th. So if you want to add days, you can able to add the days like this. And we'll try to implement this format also. And I'll take a different format here, which is like mm, I'll take y, then hyphen, then I'll take and then and then I'll take th is the hours, and then I'll take then I'll take seconds as well, which is ss. Now I hope the format is correct. And when I So that's a drawback. When you click outside, the expression will goes away. Now we'll try once again. Date and hours, and then which is the minutes and seconds. We'll try to update this one. Still it is showing invalid format. Okay, so we are done with that. Now we'll try to test this. Now you can able to see the day format also coming as expected. So this way you can able to add the days, and if you want to add the hours, and same type of formula you have to use. Then here when you want to use add hours, we'll check once again this. If you remove this, and you can see the same type of parameters. When I type add hours, and when I open this one, it takes the timestamp, it takes how many hours you want to add, which is an integer, and then finally which is a format. So this is also one of the important formula. And then if you want to add minutes, you can able to see the same type of properties, timestamp, and how many minutes you want for the current time, and again the output format which is asking for. And so this is about time. So we have couple of other formulas also which is related to the time. Few of the things we have discussed here, like adding the dates, hours, and minutes. And we have convert from UTC, we have convert time zone, we have day of the month and day of the week and day of year. Couple of other, we'll see this one first. We'll try one, and remaining you can able to practice with the same. We'll see the properties inside that. Now I'll try with the day of month. If I take this day of month, now it will ask the timestamp. Now we'll take the current time, so which is in UTC now, and click update. And we'll try to test this one. So we can run the flow. Which is done. You go to the compose. Now the day is 27th in this month. The same fashion, if you click this one, and if you want to get day of the week, you can type day of the week in the expression day of the week, and then you need to open the parenthesis and close the parenthesis and click OK. and then test this one. Done, click done, and now we got an error message, so which is unable to process because we forgot to add, we just open and close the parentheses and we are not passed any time frame here. For example, if you open this one, it is asking for the timestamp, and we have to take this UTC now and then update and then test and then save and test, which is the day of the week. Now when we click this one, sixth day, which is a Saturday, so that's why you got number 6. If it is a Sunday, you'll get the number 7. So, and the same manner, you can get the day of year and which day in this year you'll get that. And we can get the future time also with a timestamp, and we can write a start of day, which actually returns a timestamp of the day. And you can write start of the hour, like from first minute, and we have subtract from the time. So you want to subtract from any specific time, you can go with that. And there is a property called ticks, and it returns the ticks property value of a specified timestamp. And we already discussing about UTC now, which returns the current timestamp. But the UTC now returns the UTC time, and if you want to convert the time zone, we can use the convert to time zone concept in the date and time functions. So this will be very helpful when you are working with any of the date related stuff, when you want to identify the difference between start date and end date also. And this type of date formulas will be helpful to identify the difference between the times. And we have few workflow functions also. The workflow functions, which is helpful to identify the action, which is helpful to identify the body of the flow. And it will get the items as well, and it will get the outputs, and it will throw the results as well. So few of the workflow related expressions also were there, that will cover in the next video.